Hi, Mark Rogerson here. Today we're looking at capacity versus billings in your professional services firm. So you should be seeing on the screen now we have a very detailed ebook on how to improve the performance of your professional services firm. And today we're just going to go through one component of that, which is comparing your capacity to your actual billings and discussing why there may be a gap, or what we call the black hole, which is the gap between capacity and actual billings. So it seems pretty simple, doesn't it? You know, there's a performance standard that your firm should be achieving, and perhaps it's not, and then you should be able to rectify why that is. But in a lot of cases, and this goes back to the start of the ebook that I just mentioned, in the first cases you really need to be able to calculate the capacity of your firm. So forget about billings for a moment and what you're actually doing and all that sort of stuff. It's actually calculating the capacity and coming up with some sort of number that you can say, okay, this is our starting point, and this is what, in theory and being fair, this isn't dream stuff. This is having a level-headed look at it. This is what our professional services business can produce. So it's really important to come up with that number first. And like I said, you download the ebook that's been popping up on your screen. You'll be able to sort of run through that. And we have another video on how to actually calculate the capacity, which we theory is the first step in understanding the performance of your professional services business. So once you've understood your capacity, you've got a number there that your firm can actually generate, then it's having a look at then what are your billings. So I've got here as well, you know, a capacity v billings, theory v actual, and it's almost good versus evil. You know, why is there this gap or this imbalance? So in terms of the actual and with billings, you know, so obviously a way to calculate your billings is to have a look at what you've billed in the prior financial year. So you sort of work through all your staff and calculate your capacity on the prior financial year, and then you're looking at the billings of what you've actually billed, plus WIP that's over and above what you had at the start of last financial year that's recoverable. So say for example, you know, take just last financial year, at the start of the financial year, say your WIP, which is work in progress, was $200,000, and at the end of the financial year your WIP is still $200,000, then you're really just looking to see what you actually build in that gap and or in that time period, and that's sort of your billings. If however your WIP at the start of the year was $200,000 and your WIP at the end of the year was $400,000, it was actually quite good or quite recoverable WIP, then that additional $200,000 would jump onto your year's billing. So say for example during the financial year you billed $2 million, and then you had WIP over and above the start of the year, which is all good and recoverable WIP, you just hadn't billed it yet. You have an additional $200,000, so you add on $200,000 and giving you 2.2 million. So that's sort of how you work it out. Now, say for example over your capacity side here, your capacity said that you had capacity of let's say $2.7 million. So you've got a gap here, you've got a $500,000 gap. Okay, so you've worked through this number, you're pretty comfortable, and it might be a soft number or a very achievable number, that 2.7, but hang on a minute, I've actually billed 2 mil and I've got 200,000 of WIP. What I haven't billed, which is over and above my WIP at the start of the year, so I've got 2.2 million of billing. So why is there this $500,000 gap? And this is what this section of our ebook covers and discusses the areas where this gap could be. We call it the black hole in a professional services firm, and it's basically this area of that money just disappears. And it's amazing when you work through this calculation exactly where your business may end up. So we theory in our ebook that there's a whole lot of reasons for it, but we start at the first point, which is a measurement point. Now there's a lot of businesses out there that don't measure staff in terms of their input or in terms of a timesheet going in, and that's because they perhaps they fixed fee bill, they value-based bill, etc. But my argument to that is that you don't have to bill off a timesheet, but it's an excellent way to be able to measure the inputs going in per staff member, so you can start to get an idea of where this is going wrong. So is it time not going in properly? Is there not enough time going in? You know, when you work through your capacity per employee, is not everyone putting in their time or accounting for their time properly? You know, with value-based fees, the jobs being underquoted or undercooked, is there write-offs? Do you have the wrong people doing the job? There's a whole host of reasons as to why this number can can appear effectively. And so like I said, this is what we do. This is our job. We sort of look to find why and where this number can be, and then how we can fix it. So like I said, first steps to calculate capacity, which we've discussed in our ebook. The second step is to look at what your actual billings are. And then the third step is to compare why and where this gap has arisen. And there's probably not one answer, there's probably several answers for it, but it's about working and identifying and starting to work on the biggest ones first, and really looking to close that gap. So your capacity versus your actual billings is a lot closer together. Thanks very much for watching, and like I said, please download the ebook, which should be on your screen now, and it's got a lot of good information in it. Thank you.